From the BR Proud Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jesse Gunkel with the very latest on the tropics. Right now, we are currently watching Tropical Depression number 22 at this point. This just developed. This was Invest 90 in the southern Gulf. And here's what we've got. This is the very latest out there. As you look at that satellite picture, you can see that we've got a cluster of thunderstorms. We're starting to see more convection developing around the center. Again, that just means thunderstorms kind of firing up where that center of circulation is. You can kind of see it a little bit more here. These thunderstorms are a little displaced to the southwest of the system. But the big story is what is actually going to happen with this system in the coming days. There's a lot of scenarios, and I think the key here with that is we could see a lot happen. This is expected to be a slow-moving system that's going to float in the Gulf for multiple days, could head towards Mexico, could head towards Texas, or eventually it could head towards the northern Gulf coast, and maybe even be a concern for us as we make our way into maybe the middle and end of next week. So again, when you look at the big picture out there, it doesn't look like much. The winds are currently sustained at 35, gusts at 45, heading northeast now at about 5 miles per hour. You see that there's going to be some gradual intensification. By the time we get to late Friday, early Saturday, looks like it could become a tropical storm with winds in the lower 40s. Now, if it becomes a tropical storm, it would be named Wilfred. From that point forward, notice how it makes that bend directly towards the west, towards Brownsville, Texas. That's because as we approach the weekend, a cold front arrives, and right now it seems to be, and this is what models are agreeing on, that cold front is going to push all the way through the state of Louisiana, even into the Gulf, kind of blocking this system, and that's why it turns directly towards the west. However, eventually that front washes out, and there is that possibility that it could loop back and then head northbound towards the northern Gulf Coast. So as you see here, kind of walking you through, by Sunday, you see it's now starting to make that turn. By Sunday evening, starting to head west. By Monday at this point, kind of circling back, maybe even southwest. And by Tuesday, even further southwest, could be moving back towards Mexico. But again, the concern is the lack of steering winds with this type of system, and obviously a more favorable environment. So there is that potential that it could strengthen a little bit and move northbound and kind of float, because again, once that front goes through, I don't see much happening until maybe the end of next week to kind of drive this system, and potentially another front that could drive this system more in a northeasterly direction. So as you see right now, it's moving northeast at 5 miles per hour. You can see that tropical models are all over the board on this system at this point. You can see they kind of scattered about all across the Gulf of Mexico. Not one model agrees at this point. So again, when you start looking at uncertainty, it still remains extremely high. Not only on the path, not only on the intensity, but the time of arrival here also is very uncertain. So a lot to monitor and kind of take in at this point, because our in-house model, just to give you an idea, this was an earlier run versus the National Hurricane Center and their current cone and track. You'll see that our in-house model, which I think is a little bit off, I don't see it heading directly towards us. By late Friday, you can see maybe even some rain pushing into Vermilion Bay. However, then it starts to float a little bit and starts to head a little bit west, but closer to us, kind of showing you that that cold front doesn't push as far south as we expect, which means we could be seeing a lot of heavy rain for our coastal parishes moving into Saturday and Sunday, as all that moisture gets trapped a little bit south of Baton Rouge. Now it goes a little bit further west, but watch the European model. Kind of takes more of a northwestern turn a little bit sooner. By the time we're talking late Monday, so going into early Tuesday most likely, could be scraping the Florida coast, maybe making one potential landfall as a tropical storm, and then floating back across the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico. And as you see here, it could rapidly intensify and maybe even become a very strong tropical storm, potentially even a very weak hurricane before going in landfall. And you see the time right there, that is late Wednesday heading into Thursday. So we're talking 1 week away versus other models which were showing by the time we get to about Tuesday, the Hurricane Center was kind of pushing it towards southern Texas at Tuesday, kind of Wednesday time frame. So again, just be vigilant. Make sure you're paying attention. You're going to see a lot of models pop up probably on social media, and that's why you need to pay attention to the experts out there, because as you see here, we're going to see a lot of different runs, and this is going to be one where things are going to change from run to run as we head into not only the weekend, but heading into early next week as the system kind of floats out there for just a little bit. And obviously, this time of the year, you never want a slow-moving system in the Gulf of Mexico, because it gives it time to build out there, to push in a lot of moisture and kind of, again, pull that up. We saw what happened with Sally. Obviously, a ton of rainfall out there with that slow-moving system. It was crawling at 2 miles per hour. So, again, the potential for heavy rain, it's out there. They've kept it a little bit further south of the state, but as you see just along the coastline, we're talking Terrebonne Parish, maybe 4+ inches of rainfall over the next 7 days. And again, that could change if the system decides to move northbound, and I think we'll start to see some of that heavier rainfall towards the middle and end of next week. But again, you could be seeing some of those rain bands extending quite a few miles from the center at this circulation. And got to remember, again, we are in the peak of hurricane season right now. And as you see here, we've got a lot of season left out there. There's a lot of areas of concern out there that we're currently watching. But again, this one will become Wilfred if it becomes a tropical storm, most likely late Wednesday going into, excuse me, not late Friday going into Saturday. I got my days all mixed up. It's been some busy weeks out there, but yeah, we're talking Friday going into the weekend. Luckily for us, the weekend should be fine. So if you have some weekend plans, I won't worry about it, because we got a cold front coming through. And in fact, it's actually going to be pretty nice in the coming days as we'll drop our temperatures to highs in the 80s, and overnight lows will even kind of dip into the 60s at this point. So when you look at our 7-day forecast, just to give you some time of arrival here in Louisiana, highs in the low 80s by Saturday and Sunday, overnight lows in the mid 60s. But keep an eye on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Again, our rain chances could quickly escalate by the end of next week. So again, make sure you download our free app. It's BeOurProud.com. You can get all the latest information at the tips of your fingers. It's got, again, all the current forecasts out there, and continue to follow us on BeOurProud.com, Facebook, and also make sure you tune in to our evening newscast. Again, we'll have a lot more information coming up tonight on 9 at Fox, and we'll also have more information coming up at 10 o'clock on our NBC newscast. Thanks for joining us.